Looks like we're having more fun weather conditions. The end of last week and this weekend it was 80s and 90s, and today we're down to the 50s and it's raining. This particular customer said she turned the heat on last night when it started getting a little cooler, and she can hear the thermostat clicking, but nothing actually happens. Furnace doesn't try to start. I asked her if the air conditioning worked over the weekend and last week, and she said, well, she didn't really try it until Saturday, and kind of noticed it didn't really feel like it was working that good, but wasn't really paying attention to it, and then it got cold enough she turned the heat back on. So maybe something related only to the heating. However, more than likely it's a whole system issue. So we'll drop by, see what we find, and go from there. We see right away we at least have power to our zone board. We check between yellow and red. We have 24 volts because it is not calling. White to red is calling, so 0 volts. Check here as well. That zone is not running. So over on our equipment side, same thing. We'll check between red and white to see if it has got a call for heating. We have nothing on this end. I know we have to have 24 volts because it's lit up. There again, this can be operating on a second transformer, so it may not even be attached to this guy. So let's take this apart and get in there. Right away, even pressing that in with my finger, we don't see an LED right here. That transformer is warm, so that one's buzzing. So we are operating, and at least enough to turn that one on, but we're not getting 24 volts to our board itself. So in these particular cases with zone boards, some of them, well, they all should really generally have their own transformer for the board and for the unit. However, in some cases that won't happen, and they'll just wire in one transformer to run both. But you won't usually have the volt amps to be able to do that, so it's usually a better idea to put in a secondary transformer. But we have a blown fuse here, and whether that's just a nuisance trip or a different kind of issue with a short somewhere, we'll have to dig into and find out. Just to check and see whether it's a nuisance short or not, we have a little 3 amp popper. It's like a little miniature circuit breaker, essentially. That way we're not wasting fuses. But we'll plug this guy in place of where our fuse goes. So everything did start up. We will disconnect. Disconnect our furnace wire, let it shut back down. Then we're going to jump between the red and green to see if it's shutting down due to a short somewhere there. We know thermostat seems okay in heating mode. Zone board seems okay in heating mode. Did not really have an issue with that. So we'll jump between red and green once this shuts down, see if there's possibly an issue with the fan motor relay itself or thermostat zone board calling for fan. And if that doesn't give us an issue, we'll jump between red 24 volts and the outdoor unit Hvac and see if we have an issue there. And that way it will at least point us which direction we need to go. So we just disconnected the outdoor unit so we can check it individually. So we have our LED light going. Check between 24 volt hot and green. So the fan does come on. Don't have an issue there. We'll check between 24 volt hot and see that yellow wire should go to the system and then back to the zone board. So we'll check it. Same thing there. Our zone board and everything is happy. Still have 24 volts. So we'll check between 24 volt hot and this red wire, which now just leads to the outdoor unit's control contactor. Alright, we'll quickly let go of that because just as soon as we contacted that wire, our red light went off. So that tells me it browned the system out for a second. Did not actually trip our 3 amp fuse, but that would lead me to thinking we've got an issue with the outdoor unit. So let's run out and take a look at that. Alright, first thing we notice is we do have some damaged wire, but that's probably a weed eater. Doesn't seem to be actually interfering with the internal insulation on these wires. I do see a little bit of a mess there. I don't see actually any wire damage where a rodent or something was in here. Let us just disconnect here. See if we have any kind of shorts going on the outdoor unit. And we'll just put our meter into continuity mode, so we should see either open load if nothing's connected, or tone, and it will give us an actual ohm reading there to know how we're shorted. So we'll check between one of these and ground. We've got nothing. So I think we're good as far as any kind of electrical short. My next thought would likely be this contactor is damaged and it's pulling too much amperage. Either that or it is shorted together. So we'll check. Yeah, we have almost a 0 going through the coil on the contactor up there. So that would tell us that our contactor coil is shorted, and that's what's killing our low voltage. So we'll get them a contactor. And essentially, when I was checking these 2 wires here, this one goes through a pressure switch, comes back, attaches to one side of the contactor's 24 volt coil. This just goes directly to the other side of the 24 volt coil. So electrically speaking, I was just checking the contactor coil through that. The 240 volt here. Doesn't really matter which side it goes to when we replace this contactor. Well, I realized after the fact that we were mostly staring at my armpit and back while I was changing that contactor out. So luckily I have my driveway heat pump. You know, that's a normal thing people have. But these guys work fairly simply. I kind of refer to it as a temperature actuated light switch if you consider this unit your light. So you have your high voltage connections, line 1 and line 2. Connecting here at the bottom on this particular one, as well as the one we were working on. This one is a double pole contactor. We have 2 poles here. The one on the unit in the video is a single pole. For our purposes, doesn't really matter. But as we are energized, here's our low voltage connections. They make a circuit through the magnet in the back, essentially, a little electromagnet, and it pulls this plunger in. And when it does, we make contact on our contact points, completing our circuit. So our power zips through, goes through all of our devices, and completes the circuit through the other side. Everything runs, theoretically. As far as replacing them, it's easy enough. Typically, mounting wise, you'll have a couple of screws on either side, or sometimes there might be a nice little sleeve for them to slide into in the back. Either way, the way I like to do it is I just unmount the current contactor, pull it back a little bit, mount the new contactor, and that way I can just one for one take wires off, put them back. You don't really have to think about it much that way. You don't have to do it that way. You know, obviously you can use your nice little wiring diagram you see here. Line 1, line 2 goes and completes our circuits through our various devices, comes through on the other side. This one is depicting a single pole contactor, so that's been changed either by me or somebody else in the past. Again, for our purposes on these guys, doesn't really matter that much. There's our contactor coil where our low voltage is connecting here, so easy enough. Resecure our low voltage here. That's good. So we'll go inside and reapply power, make sure everything works and that we're happy, but more than likely we are done out here. So we're all hooked up, new fuse, contactor replaced outside, reapply power, and we will double check by once again, if I can get it on there, jumping between our red 24 volt hot and our Y for the outdoor unit. And this time around we have not browned out on a call for cooling. It is going to energize this guy and our outdoor compressor. And naturally over here it's Lee on the other side. So I do feel our compressor running outside, so I believe we are good to go on this one. Another little low voltage short. That one not particularly too bad because they'd been running the heat all winter, not had an issue with it. I kind of had it in my head it was probably something to do with the outdoor unit anyway. However, with that zone board, it's always a question. You've got so many things in between point A and point B at that point. Could be anything. That particular one did have two transformers. So the transformer that was operating the zone system in the thermostat was happily going along its day. The transformer that was operating the furnace in the outdoor unit, that was the one that had tripped our fuse, and just going down, troubleshooting it a little bit through process of elimination. We knew the furnace worked, we knew the blower worked, we knew the boards were all working because they were turning it on and off to start with. Just as soon as we isolated and tried to turn on the outdoor unit, we had a fault and browned out the unit. Did not actually trip my little 3-amp popper, but it was enough to brown the LED out. So immediately disconnected it when we saw that. And checking the outdoor unit, we did see a little bit of rodent damage, but that wasn't actually the problem. None of the wires were chewed. And next step after that, the only thing we had left, check continuity through things, see if we had anything grounded. Nothing appeared to be. However, that control contactor out there was at almost exactly 0 resistance through its coil, so it was just essentially directly shorting our low voltage every time it attempted to turn on the compressor outside. So easy enough, just replace the control contactor, turned everything back on, put a new fuse in it. It was all happy. So we'll jog along and try to find something else to get into.